Saxon Math Course 2, we're in Lesson 35, dealing with adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing decimal numbers today. All right, so we're going to look at example 1 and jump right into this. Okay, example 1 gives you this problem, okay, and it's kind of written in a linear way, in one line. And essentially, when we add these decimals, the biggest deal is to line up the decimals, okay? And when you do that, it kind of arranges everything in their little slots. And I've drawn these little lines here to demonstrate those slots to show you. And when you add them, obviously I'm not going to teach you how to add, but when you add them, that helps you orientate where the decimal is. And notice the decimal down here is in line with all of these decimals up here. And if you can do that, that's going to save you a lot of headaches and you'll be able to get right answers because of that. All right, so that's adding. Look at example 2. Example 2 gives you a rectangle, and then it's a point 3 and a point 2, and it asks you for the perimeter. Well, you know that this is also point 2 and this is also point 3, so if we're going to add all those up, okay, point 3, point 3, point 2, and point 2. Now this is interesting because we're going to have a decimal here, but 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. So we're going to have a 0 here. We're going to carry a 1, and that 1 comes all the way down here, and it's literally 1.0, or we can just represent it as 1. Okay, but 1.0 because we did have decimals. Okay, so we need to show the place of where that was. Same thing for subtracting. So you're going to see a decimal of 12.3. I'll make my decimal a little larger. Minus 4 and 567 thousandths. That's how we say that. 4 and 567 thousandths because it's in the thousands place. So when we do this, okay, we have 12.3, and literally there are 2 other spaces because we've got 3 spaces here, and we're going to put our 4, our 5, 6, and 7. Okay, and when we subtract, obviously you know how to do this. Okay, so this becomes a 10, this is a 9, this becomes 12, this becomes 11, or 12 rather, and we borrow this, and it goes to 0. All right, so 10 minus 7 is 3, 9 minus 6 is 3, 12 minus 5 is, oops, should be 7, sorry. 12 minus 4 is 8. So we have, that should be 11 minus 4 is 7. 7.733. Let me rewrite that. Looks a little sloppy. Okay, so just be careful with your borrowing and make sure you do those right and read your own handwriting, which I couldn't do. All right, so that's subtraction. I'm going to jump to multiplication. Okay, multiplication in example 5, again, gives you a rectangle because we're going to find the area of this rectangle. 0.4 or 4 tenths, and then this is 25 hundredths, or 0.25. So we're going to multiply these two numbers. Okay, I often put the bigger number, or the number that has the most digits, not the bigger number, the number that has the most digits on top. And in this multiplication, you notice that you can't necessarily line these up, okay? And that's okay. What we want to do, though, is we want to count how many decimal places there are. So this is 1, 2, 3, all right, behind the decimal. So we know that we're going to move the decimal 3 places, okay? So I kind of just write that up just because I see 3 decimal places here. All right, 4 times 5 is 20, carry the 2. And that 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10, so we're going to carry the 1, and there it is. All right, so what are we going to do with this 3 decimal places? Okay, so since we have 100, which 4 times 25 is 100, the decimal place is right here to start with. And because we're going to move it 1, 2, 3 places. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. And that's the new decimal point. So it's going to be actually 0.1 is our answer. Don't leave it as 100 because that didn't account for any of these decimal places. It's actually moved over 3 times, and this is the correct answer. Okay. Similarly, when we do a division problem, let's go to a division problem and look at that. And I want to look at example 8. Okay, so it says the perimeter of a square is 7.2 meters. How long is each side? Well, if you have the whole perimeter equals 7.2, we know that there are 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're going to divide 7.2 by 4. Okay, we know it goes 1 time, and we get 32. And here's the trick here. In division problems, we put the decimal right above where the decimal is in the problem here. So 4 goes into 32 8 times, so we know that each side is 1.8. Sorry, I was going to say 1.1. So 1.8 for each side, and that means it's a square because they're all the same. And we can also find out the area if we wanted to. We could multiply both of those. So pretty simple as far as the concepts are concerned, but again, the biggest deal is watching where the decimal goes. For division problems, goes right there. For multiplication problems with the 0.25 times the 0.4, just remember we move the decimal over 3 times with that 100, which actually means it's just simply 0.1 for our answer. And then addition, you line up the decimal points all in a row. It doesn't matter how many digits you have out here. You could have, but they all need to be lined up in order to get the proper thing, and the decimal goes right there. All right, there's your lesson. Hope you enjoy it. Lesson 35.